if you are already subscribed and see me all the time, or welcome if you are new. I am Natasha, and I am an astrological birth chart counselor, is what I like to call myself. And I take more of a counseling advice approach to reading your own personal birth chart and how that may help you unlock some self-awareness, as well as characteristics, positive and negative, which can help you grow. As if you're not self-aware, that's the first step, that you're acknowledging that this is true or not true, partially true. If it is a problem and you feel like it is something that you wish to get better at, or simply to feel heard as you constantly struggle with a certain area in your life. So it's just kind of fun and creative, and it is a tool that I have used when I felt like nothing else really worked, and I almost was self-taught to the point where I'm learning from other people as well. And here I am. I have a background in clinical mental health counseling, and I have a bachelor's in fine art. So I like to combine the two, as well as I like a overall wellness, holistic way of healing. And I know that everyone learns in different ways. And so if this is something that works for you, meaning astrology, then it can be a tool or approach that may work for you or someone that you know who, just needs extra help, just like any other tool out there. So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the basics. So if you're brand new to astrology, if it's overwhelming, you're not as familiar with the signs and the moon and the Venus and houses and what is that, and there's different types of astrology, it can be very overwhelming and confusing, and you're like, oh my god, as it's just very broad, and it can be a little kind of overlapping a little bit, but once you learn it more and more, you kind of can tell the differences between the signs and what they represent in different houses and such. So the basics is there are 12 zodiac signs. So we start in kind of like mid-April. In astrology, it's like the new year for the zodiac signs. So most of the signs, they're not on an exact date when they change, but it's about the middle of each month is when one sign ends and the other sign begins. So the first sign is Aries. So we have Aries represents the first house, Taurus representing the second house, Gemini representing the third, Cancer representing the fourth, Leo representing the fifth, Virgo the sixth, Libra 7, Scorpio 8, Sagittarius 9, Capricorn 10, Aquarius 11, and Pisces 12. Is this backwards for you? 12. So that is the order of the zodiac signs. And most people think of the zodiac signs as their sun sign. So that is the most popular planet, Leo, sun representing Leo. So it is the sun, it's where you shine. It is where your soul feels like you want to aspire to be, you wish to be more like that. And it is a part of you if you don't feel like you embody all the characteristics of that particular sign. But that is what makes it the most popular. And some people don't completely resonate with their sun sign, and that may have to do with if there's a ton of planets in a different house that is of a different sign, you can embody more of that energy of that different house or different sign, even though your sun sign is something else, for example. So we have 3 modalities, which are cardinal, mutable, and fixed signs. And within those modalities, we have the elements, so fire, earth, water, and air. So the cardinal signs would be Aries, Libra, Capricorn. So those three. And then the fixed signs would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And then mutable signs would be Gemini. Sorry, I have to look, otherwise I get confused. Mutable is Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. So once again, Aries would be cardinal fire, Taurus is fixed earth, Gemini is mutable air, and then Cancer is cardinal water, Leo is fixed fire, Virgo is mutable earth, Libra is cardinal air, Scorpio is fixed water, Sagittarius is mutable fire, Capricorn is cardinal earth, and Aquarius is fixed air, and Pisces is mutable water. So cardinal signs are typically more of those go-getter, action-oriented signs. They sometimes tend to not finish what they start, but they're really good at initiating and being energetic about something brand new, getting started on an idea, and at least just getting up and trying. Just trying and failing is kind of more of the idea, as if you don't even start, then nothing is going to happen anyway. The downside of that is sometimes you get so excited and passionate about starting something new, you don't really think about the plan of how that's going to play out, or the reality of how that's going to play out, and you're brave enough to try, but it may fall short, or you kind of lose interest in it, and you kind of start on something else new, almost like ADD or ADHD. And then the mutable signs are more kind of, they can flow back and forth. They can almost think of the communicators between the cardinal signs and the fixed signs, you know, like the little assistants of like, okay, that's a great idea, this sounds good, okay, what do you, like, let's see if we can incorporate that into the plan that's already been set for 1,000,000 years. And, you know, that 1,000,000 year plan is just the way things have always been done. It always seems to work, and that's just the way it has to be. That's more of the fixed signs. So the fixed signs are more secure and stable, or maybe not even that. They're just more stubborn in what they know or what they feel comfortable with, even if it's self-sabotaging at times. So it's like fearing to explore outside of the box at times, or feeling like you have to tiptoe and crawl out of a, you know, into a new world that you have no idea what's out there, if it's scary, or do you feel safe or not, because you feel safe with what you consistently know, you know. So that's kind of more of the fixed energy. That does not mean that if you are a fixed sun sign, for example, that you are those characteristics, because you are typically a mixture of the entire zodiac. You have all 12 signs within your birth chart. It's just that you have typically more energy going to certain places, certain signs, certain houses. Some people, everything is kind of more clustered into one quadrant of the birth chart, and some people it's scattered everywhere. So, you know, it just kind of depends on your particular birth chart and what you're experiencing, and what choices you have made to kind of lead you on the path that, you know, you're kind of led on. I kind of like to explain it as if you're in a pitch dark place, you know, you still have free will and free choice to kind of move in a way that you would want to, or stand completely still or sprint forward or in a diagonal zigzag, whichever way. And if you're in the pitch dark and you have like a like flashlight stuck to your head, hopefully a good flashlight, you can still only see a window of what's visible based on what you have on your head. And kind of imagine that light is kind of the cards that you were dealt with, and so you still have the ability to move around or not, or as slow or fast that you can go, but each step that you choose to make or which direction you take is still within the realm of what you have and what you know within your chart. And then you have to play with what you interact with that's outside of yourself. I don't know if that made any sense to you, but it's kind of like that. So you have the 12 zodiac signs, and they were in the order of the 12 houses. And I use Western astrology. I don't do the others. So don't even ask me in the comments below. And then the modalities and elements. So those are kind of the basics of that part. So you have the planets too. So we have what is called your big three. So if you're brand new to astrology and you just know your sun sign, maybe you do, maybe you don't even know what your sun sign is, but that's the most popular one depending on the day that you were born. It typically makes you a certain sign for your sun sign depending on the date of birth. And so you have your big three. So sun is the most popular one. And then you have your moon sign is more of how the energy of your emotions tend to play out. So you have to think of everything is more like in energy. So it's not that literal. And so it just kind of dominates in the majority of the time how you how the combination of what that sign represents and what that actual planet, or the moon is not necessarily a planet, but the moon represents your emotions, your hidden motives in order to get your needs met, the way your feelings kind of act out in a way. So for example, I am a moon in Aries sign. So in the beginning when I was learning astrology, it was a little confusing because it's like, what is the difference between the moon is more of your emotions, and then for instance Mercury is the way you think, and I have Mercury in Capricorn. And I didn't quite understand, like what exactly is the difference for the moon sign, like how is it playing out. And I'm a 1-3 in human design, so I'm the type who has to actually go through experiences in order to really comprehend them. And so once I actually go through them myself, I have a better way of kind of interpreting what that experience may be like, even though I am only one example of an experience. I'm not all of them, of course, but I can kind of present what it may act out in. So like Aries is, what it tends to represent is super fast, quick, instinctive, kind of animalistic, not meaning like barbaric or anything necessarily, but it's just like, you know what you want and you know what you don't want, and you don't have any time to think about it. It's just you're so decisive that you decided 10 days ago, even though the opportunity of that decision came today. You just know, it's just a knowing. So that's why what I mean by kind of that animalistic, quick instinctive, life or death, fight or flight kind of energy. So the downfall of that is that the emotions is like so quick that you just go with it without thinking about it, and you just don't know why. And maybe there's a lot of red flags in front of your face, but you just feel like you just have to just do it, or the feeling is just like, yeah, I'm gonna try it out. I'm like Aries is like a warrior, very brave, not afraid to explore and fail and fall down a million times because they're always gonna get back up. Aries is almost like the little baby trying to learn how to walk for the first time, and they fall so many times on their butt or whatever. They may or may not cry, but then they try and persevere to get back up again, regardless of how many times they fall. And it's kind of in an innocent, playful, childlike way. Like they just don't know any better, and so they just were brave to just try and explore it and take the risk, take the plunge. And if they fail, now they know what to do or not to do based on the actual experience, and they just try again because that's how you get better. So that's kind of like the energy of Aries. Very quick, fast, doesn't think about things, brave. So that's just the energy of it for mine. I'm sorry if I went too long about Moon in Aries, but now if you know anyone with Moon in Aries, there's like a tendency of that. And they're very playful, kind of immature, childlike, joke a lot, very blunt, direct, cutthroat, piercing, and it's not because they have anything necessarily ill or they're trying to put you down or anything. Usually it's more, it's just like, that's just what it is. You want me to be dishonest, just honest. If it hurts your feelings, it's not because I'm trying to hurt your feelings. That's just the way it is. That's more of the Aries approach. So that's Moon. So Moon is just the energy of the emotions, so it's not literal. If you think too literal, you're gonna kind of miss it, or it's not going to click for you as much. And then think of the elements. So like, are you a fire moon? Do you act on your emotions because of passion, drive, excitement? Or are you more of a earth sign energy, grounded, stable, realistic, a little bit more about the material world, thinking about money, because in this world, money is important. Are you an air sign moon, which is your emotions are more based on communicating. You need to be able to talk to someone all the time or talk out your feelings. You like to have that companionship with, connecting, conversing, talking. It's more intellectual. Or are you more of a water sign moon? So super sensitive, sometimes good way, sometimes not so great of a way, because water is more vulnerable, and the power of emotions is very powerful. Like people do crazy things because of their emotions in a positive way or in a negative way. Because that energy is extremely powerful. So it can get us to do things that other people who don't have that emotional drive, get them to do things that other people might not put the effort in, because, like love is powerful, hate is powerful, anxiety, frustration, despair, grief, all those emotions affect the rest of your decisions, usually, whether you progress forward, do something about it, hold yourself back. So if you have more of a water sign moon, emotions are a big thing. You're more sensitive, intuitive. You kind of, go through things even more with emotions, because the moon already represents all the emotions. The moon is the ruler of Cancer, and Cancer represents the home and family, typically the mother. So the moon is also how your mother kind of was with you. So the archetype of whatever moon sign you had is how you perceived your mom, and how she had to somehow just connect and interact with you, even if you had like 10 siblings, like you have the same mom, for example, and all of you have different personalities. You're all going to try and fight for love and attention from your parent, and so you're also competing against your siblings in order to do that, or taking different roles, or trying to prove yourself to be more worthy and loved in order to get admiration from a parent who is trying to do that for 10 kids, 10, 11, whatever I said. And so that's not easy, because you can't equally give the exact amount of time to each kid, and each kid is gonna try and do something in order to outshine the other kid. So, and then it depends on your mom, like, do they tolerate life, their world, outside life of the home well? Is there financial stability, good or bad? Is there personal relationships, good or bad? And then how is she interacting with each one of her kids? It's like all the emotions all over the place, changing all at one time. So if you're a mom, you probably know that or experience that, or if you don't, if you're not, I'm not, at least right now, I can just imagine that's why. So that is the moon. So you have your sun sign, your moon sign, and the other big three is your ascendant, also called your rising sign. So your particular rising sign is represented by your first house. So typically, the order of the zodiac, the first house is Aries, but depending on the location you were born and the time, especially where you were born, the time is not aware, sorry, but the time you were born is going to kind of change the dial of that birth chart of where that first house sits in the zodiac. So the zodiac signs are still in order, 1 through 12, but depending on the time that you were born, then your first house will start at whatever zodiac sign of when you were born. So for example, I am a Libra rising, so that represents my first house, who I am, how I interact in face-to-face interactions. It's also your rising or ascendant sign also represents how you had to survive in childhood, like your subconscious, instinctual way of how you learn to respond and survive with these giant human being alien forms in order to keep yourself fed and get your needs met as a infant or baby. And that's just how you learned to interact and get your needs met in your particular way. So that is your rising sign. So your rising sign, the actual zodiac sign, is going to be the archetype of who you are, or the mask that you put on in front of other people that you interact with one-on-one. So you're like, what exactly does that mean? Like, I don't put a mask on to show people, like maybe you do. Maybe you kind of put on a show for people in order to feel accepted and liked and not rejected, because typically everybody does in their own way, but you may find more information or realizations by the archetype of the zodiac in your first house, and the characteristics that you tend to exude towards other people and how other people perceive you. So I'm talking to a camera right now, but if you're watching this, you are interacting with me, or you're at least hearing me, even though I'm not hearing or seeing you. So this one-on-one interaction between you and me, you are seeing me as a Libra archetype. So it's all the representations of a Libra, which is representing of the 7th house. So you're getting little tidbits of some examples of the zodiac representation. So if you already know your birth chart and you are a Libra rising or moon in Aries or sun in Capricorn, I don't think I explained sun in Capricorn, then you're getting a little bonus with this video. Otherwise, it's more of a learning thing of how that may look like if you ever encounter maybe a Libra rising, for example. So Libra is the scales. It's the only inanimate object of the zodiac that's not an animal or a human being. So it is the scales. It represents justice, fair, and balance, meaning relationships, which is a two-way street, not one. And it represents contracts. So it's the agreement between two parties, whether that's in a marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, typically not boyfriend, girlfriend, because you haven't gone to that stage of joining major resources through a contract, saying that we're going to share, commit, and do the thing. Or if you own a business or agree to a lease or a mortgage on a house, you're reading over and agreeing that this is what I'm going to do on my end, and this is what you're going to provide on your end. So it's like that. And Libra is also kind of like a mirror, or harmonizer, mediator, kind of like a people pleaser at times too, because they always want to keep the peace, keep harmony, see things from everybody's side, see things in like there's always two sides to a story. So it's just like weighing the pros and cons, being very calculative, and like, okay, what is more important in order to make the decision like a judge of what is right and wrong, what is ethical, not ethical, etc. So those are your big three: sun, moon, and rising. So those are the main ones if you're a beginner to astrology to kind of get familiar with. The fourth one next that is common is your Venus sign, or how you express love and the attraction, beauty that you exude, or what naturally kind of blesses you in a way, and where is that playing out in your birth chart. So I will end it there for this video. I hope you enjoyed, got something out of it. It was entertaining for you. And if you want to see more, I have a playlist down below. And like, share, subscribe. Please hit the like button, subscribe button if you want to see more. I do personal birth chart readings in a pre-recorded way, so you don't have to actually schedule a one-on-one session with me if you don't have time. I'm busy with other stuff too, but I'm very professional. I'm a Capricorn sun and I'm a workaholic in a way. So I will get it to you as soon as possible. You can go to my website down below. It's www.natashascreativewellness.com. I have merchandise, products. I like to share some of my art that I've used through a third-party source like Printify or Printful. So I don't actually produce the objects or merchandise, whatever you want to call it, but it is based on my art, my paintings and stuff. If you want to support my channel or support me, I get just a percentage of that. And check out any products I have online, if I have that uploaded or not, depending on when you see this video, if you've made it this far. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.